I said we've had attraction issues.
What's the attraction issue?
It's the height.
Now, Julia Ruth, I know you could have come up with something better than that. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie for those who don't know me, and I will not be apologizing for my absence because at this point, y'all know the drill, okay? Y'all know. Y'all know. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. Let me also say I'm gone for the month of November. Like the whole month. So if you are an OG subscriber, you've seen what it looks like when I do my videos from Zimbabwe. It could be a little rough, right? So I don't know if I'll get videos out to you guys, but I will try my best. If not, we're just going to try to soak up the last days of October. And if I don't finish the season, then I don't finish the season. Or maybe I'll finish it when I come back in December. We'll see. But anyways, getting into episodes 18 to 21, which is not too bad. It's 2 shy from last week. Last week was 6 episodes. This week is just 4, okay? We're going to start with Maeve and Joe. So Joe said that Maeve needs to take care of herself more, you know, like get dolled up, do her nails, do her hair, or whatever. He claims that he was saying it out of care. I don't know what would have happened for him to feel like she's maybe letting herself go. Like, damn, the process is only about a handful of weeks. But he felt the need to say that. She took offense to that, as would a lot of people. I mean, it just happened with Grace and Ashley. You're going to take offense to somebody basically telling you that you're not keeping yourself well anymore, right? She popped off and left their apartment. When she came back, she realized that Joe was gone, right? He did end up returning. But when the couples are split to do their spa day, hangout day, whatever, he tells Ashley, actually, that he's not quite sure if he loves Maeve the way that he said that he did before. Honestly, when he said it the first time, I was like, you sure? But anyways, he's not sure if they're compatible. I don't think that they ever really were compatible. From the wedding, he had concerns about their different temperaments and stuff. So all of that is playing on his mind. It should be noted that he is currently grieving. So he did lose his grandfather. His grandfather was sick the previous week. Now his grandfather did pass away. And so he's dealing with all of this all at once. I think this was a failed opportunity again for the show to depict what it could look like to be a supportive partner to somebody who's currently grieving. This has happened on Married at First Sight multiple times before, where I'm just like, somebody's literally experiencing a familial loss, and instead of showing what it could look like to be their support, we're showing the person who's feeling neglected and like, oh, woe is me, why won't my partner do this and that and this and that? And it's just, I don't know, it's always weird, especially because we know these relationships are contrived. Like, let's be so for real. The least you could do is show us a good example of what it looks like to be a partner while your partner is grieving. But anyways, she later is crashing out because she feels like Joe has abandoned her. Mind you, he went home to attend the funeral. We'll get into them more later, but yeah, she was irritating me. Moving on, Steven and Nellie. Maeve actually speaks up with the whole Steven and Nellie situation, and she says that obviously Steven is not into her. He could be doing more. Nellie is just beating a dead horse at this point, and I'm thinking, projection much? Don't get me wrong, some of the points that she was saying were correct, but the way in which she was saying it, it was almost as if she was saying it about her own situation. But anyways, obviously Nellie did not take kindly to that. She's aware that Steven could be doing better, but she still doesn't like hearing negative commentary about her partner because that is her partner who she still wants to explore something with, right? On the other hand, we have Steven, who feels like basically the whole group is against him. He doesn't feel like people are considering his feelings. And like I said earlier, I do believe that early on, it was Nellie who was making things difficult for Steven. I don't know why that triggered somebody. One of y'all really went off in the comments saying, how dare you? Just a reminder, guys, this is a TV show, okay? Also, this is one person on the internet's opinions. Don't ever take it that seriously. Anyways, he feels like people aren't considering him. And I feel like at the beginning, She was the one who was causing issues in the relationship, her being so smothering, her being so insecure, her constantly asking for reassurance from this stranger. It gets exhausting very quickly. Along the line, he ended up being more in the wrong than she ever was. So I do feel like the onus at that point was on him to mend things, but unfortunately he's still trying to act like he's in the victim role, right? So I mean, don't know what to tell you, Steven. You messed up royally. So at this point, it's up to you to make amends, right? He did not like that the group was calling him out on his behavior. He stormed off. He came back. He apologized for storming off. Just, yeah. Something about Steven Tamiki is very immature. I don't know whatever happened to the rumors of him being with somebody on the outside. I haven't seen any TikToks about that situation since I last spoke about it. But yeah, he's obviously very disengaged. But as we're going to see in the next few episodes, he's going to fake the funk. So now we're starting to get into some little juicy drama, okay? We have Julia Ruth and Davarni. So she gets called out for not being honest with Davarni about her feelings towards him, her lack of physical attraction to him. And she says, there's no point ramming in the issue when I've already told him plenty of times that I'm not physically attracted to him. So the group is like, okay, I mean, it still feels like you're not being completely honest, but fine. I will say she has said it. She skirts around it, but she has said it. So I can't say that she's bold-faced lying to him. And I'll preface this from now. If you're one of those people who's going to crash out on somebody's opposing opinion, then you're not going to like what I'm going to have to say. I'm not as angry at Julia Ruth as I saw a lot of the internet being. I'll explain a little bit further. But anyways, I do, however, think that it was wrong for her to paint the relationship as if there's absolutely no physical activity going on and she just doesn't have that feeling for him whatsoever. And Davarni has gotten to his wit's end too, because the whole group is chiming in saying, oh my gosh, like, why are you staying in this dead end relationship? Why are you fighting for a girl who doesn't like you? Why do you keep basically simping for somebody who couldn't give a damn about you? And he's irritated because he knows something that we don't know, which is the fact that they've actually been doing the nasty the whole time.
No one knows where we really are except for me and you. We've been intimate, you already know that. I looked like a complete fucking fool today, 100%.
So you'd rather out me in front of the camera and you want respect my wishes to not bring it to camera? You want me to sit on the couch and tell everyone the sick shit?
I'm looking like a delusional prick. I don't give a fuck if you said if it was shit. At least you're being true to yourself.
Davarni is rightfully charged up when he returns to the apartments because at this point, he looks like a dickhead. His words, not mine. Like, you're making me look like this sorry ass puppy dog when we are, you know, connecting in some form or fashion, and it's not completely one-sided. Like, you're giving me energy. I'm sticking around because you're giving me energy. Oh, and a friend of mine, and I just spoke about this the other day, there's this person that we know who constantly makes it seem like people are after them. Oh my gosh, this person is on me. Why are they on me? Oh, this person is on me too. This person is on me too. Come to find out, these people are on you because you're continuously giving them a reason to be on you. You're keeping hope alive. You're, you know, entertaining some of their advances. But then when you're asked about it, you make it seem like this person is delusional. This person is just on me. They're so obsessed with me. So 4 days ago, which was what, Friday? Saturday, I don't know. 4 days ago, Julia Ruth went on her social media and she wrote this: consent. Ooh, it's a big one being missed this season. Unfortunately, I have to back myself on this one again. A lot will unfold in the episodes to come. That aside, let's peel back consent. As a sexually liberated and empowered woman, I get to choose how I talk about my own body, my own experiences, and I decide to share what to keep to myself. In this experiment, everything has to be out in the open for others and for other couples to evaluate, judge, and so on. Just because we are on TV and all drama must be saved for the camera doesn't mean this changes for consent when it comes to sex. If I want to have a kiss, see if it works, and it doesn't work, or now I feel I need time to figure out how I feel after the act, that is up to me and none of the audience's or couple's business. The blame in the decision to not talk about our experience lands on me. However, this was a mutual decision for many reasons between me and my husband. I hope women out there know that you can change your mind. You can choose if you do or don't want to disclose the act with people at any time, be it for shame, fear of judgment, regret, or any other reason. Sad to be the second woman this season talking about it. Anyway, there is more to this story and wrongs on my end, but I felt so strongly about this and still trying to be the sexually powerful, confident badass that I am. My body, my rules, my damn choice. Now, I saw all of this discourse before I even saw the episodes. So everybody is popping off at Julia Ruth being like, oh my gosh, you're a nasty woman. They're trying to get her kicked off the show. It's not filming in real time. Anyways, people are mad. I'm not as mad. I'm not. Like she said, and like Devarney admitted on the show, it was a mutual decision to not disclose the fact that they've had sex. And now that he's brought it to the camera, that is a violation of their agreement. Where she loses me is now painting the picture as if there's nothing attractive about this man. She just can't get over certain things. Like, they just spoke about intimacy in the last week. Oh, I just can't get there. Like, she's making it seem like he's a beg. And to me, that's wrong. However, you don't have to disclose that you are having sex. It would have been one thing if she said, this is what I'm going to do, which couples have done that before. One person will say, oh, I don't want to talk about this. The other person is like, well, I'm taking this experiment fully for what it is, so I'm going to disclose everything that's happening. You can still be upset, but at least this wasn't something that we mutually agreed on, right? But because Devarney agreed, I'm sorry, I can't be too mad at Julia Ruth on that front specifically. It is true that she is making him look real bad. She has been from the beginning. But I don't know. I'm just not as angry as everybody that I saw online. I think people are, they're like, oh, she's using trigger words like consent. And consent is just a word. Whether you're triggered by it or not is a separate issue. But anyways, I was talking about this on Love is Blind. The videos are on Reality Recap for people who are still looking for those. You can be horny. You can have a sexual desire for somebody and not find them attractive, which is what we saw with Joe and what's her name now? Madison. The man did not like the girl at all. But whenever he wanted to get his rocks off, he would have sex with her. And it's a weird thing to process, but it happens so often. A lot of women, it happens to a lot of cis women, unfortunately. They'll complain being like, well, why did you have sex with me if you didn't like me? Because they just wanted to have sex. Literally, that's it. And I think with Miss Girl, she wanted to have sex. She realized, I don't know. I don't know if they've been having sex throughout the experiment, but they definitely have had sex. And Devarney made it seem like they are still having sex on and off. So yeah, definitely bad that she presented things in that way. But I'm not mad at her for not wanting to talk about it on camera. I don't know. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Moving on. Rebecca and Bailey. They, out of the blue, have some kind of drama. Apparently, they also had a pact where they said they wouldn't choose to disclose if they were attracted to other people in the process. And unfortunately, Becca went against that pact.
The way you were being, I thought, I'm not spending a night like that with someone. So you didn't shout, you didn't swear, you weren't confrontational, you weren't aggressive.
I didn't swear, I was just like, no, I don't want to talk.
But you weren't who I knew you to be. Like, you were a completely different person.
So, you mean to tell me he didn't yell? He didn't call you out your name? He didn't disrespect you? He didn't swear? He was just not the Bailey that I've come to know. Girl, get a grip. The man was irritated. You said something that pissed him off, and he was expressing the fact that he's irritated. She's like, you were just so cold. Yeah, that's what happens when somebody's displeased with your behavior. They're not just gonna gleefully be like, oh, it's okay. Yes, you disrespected our relationship. It's totally fine. Becca, get a grip, bro. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking he cussed her out. He did nothing of the sort. And she literally said he didn't do anything that was malicious, mean, disrespectful, nothing. He was just so different. I didn't know this side of him. Yeah, welcome to reality. Welcome to adulting. People are going to be irritated if you do something that irritates them. And unfortunately, you are going to feel an energy shift. Okay? Luckily for her, they were able to mend things, but I was like, this is such a superficial, this is such a non-issue. Becca, such a non-issue. This week, the exercise is a love-hate week where the couples have to talk about what they hate about each other and then eventually talk about what they love about each other. I'm just going to go through the list of what people said. Kia hates that David gives more of himself to others than he does to him. Now, that wasn't fleshed out at all. They didn't even talk about it on those couches. At the commitment ceremony, they made it seem like everything's honky-dory. I think we need to unpack that. But okay. And we also see David being very empathetic to Julia Ruth and Kia being irritated, but they also didn't talk about that, which I think goes in tandem with what he said he hates. I think that's going to come up later. John hates that Abigail isn't more confident and self-assured. Leo hates that April has brutal banter, and she hates that he is not inquisitive. He's very shallow. They have, honestly, they're just a waste of time. Lee hates that Leah is overly complimentary. Reese hates that Leisha starts unnecessary arguments, and she hates that he is not as spontaneous as her. It sounds to me like Leisha wants him to read her mind. Whether it's little tasks around the house, she thought that he would butter her bread at breakfast, and so she had an issue about that, which started an argument. And she also feels like he should just know that she wants more sex, and she's now feeling frustrated because they're not having enough sex. And girl, speak your mind. He doesn't know you. He can't read your mind. Like, even if he knew you, he can't always read your mind. Such non-issues going on in this season anyways. Nellie says that she hates that Steven doesn't like her as much as she likes him. He does admit that she's definitely more into this than he is. He says he hates that she asks for affection instead of things being more organic. They do agree that they could be more considerate towards each other and that they could be leaning more into the romance of their relationship. Ashley hates that Grace doesn't like his humor, and she says the problem with his humor is that he's deprecating towards her, which is a problem. Grace also hates the fact that he is performative. He seems to do his whole humor shtick for an audience, which he did not like. And she also says that whenever she brings up issues, he always assumes that she's just being difficult, and she pushes back on that. And he just immediately gets pissy.
We haven't even argued once this week yet.
Have you?
No.
Just a drunken dispute.
Grace has been a dick.
We can't really... There's a level of joke and then there's a bit of disrespect.
So you're telling me I only do it when there's other people about? I don't do it for an audience.
And how do I react when you do it if it's just us? You're accountable for the fact you've upset me and that you continue to make them anyway for the sake of other people. You transfer it back to me, you deflect it.
It's just learning about each other, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Sometimes she does make an issue out of petty little things, but this to me doesn't seem petty. If you are making jokes at my expense, I'm going to have an issue with that. Unless a couple has already established that that's their banter, which often takes a while to get into, it's not cute. It is not cute. A lot of these couples struggle when it comes to banter and humor because they don't know each other well enough yet. So instead of being all jokey, let's get to know each other. Let's get comfortable with each other and see what kind of humor we are okay with. But even without that happening, Ashley knows that he says a lot of distasteful things. He has called it out within himself. So let's not make it seem like, Grace is always just being difficult for no reason. She has good reason. We've seen multiple times that she has good reason to take issue with some of the things that Ashley says. Moving on to the loves, David says he loves that he doesn't have to change himself to be loved by Kia, and Kia says he loves that David feels comfortable being himself. Now, I personally did not like the fact that David made his love about Kia about himself. But okay. Then we have April, who loves the fact that Leo is very tactile, and Leo loves her bum, which is a problem for April because he's yet again being very superficial. Then we have Bailey and Becca, who love each other's sense of humor. Leah takes Lee on a boat date, which helps Lee because Lee loves the fact that Leah makes her feel so safe. So this is another example of that. And Leah loves Lee's laugh. Grace also arranged a date, trying to, revive whatever you could get from this relationship. Ashley is still annoyed. He feels like she completely misrepresented the conversation that they had. Based on the little flashback that we saw, I feel like Grace adequately depicted what was happening. But anyways, she says that she's been told to lighten up and take a joke more, which is why she was trying to not make an issue of what he said in front of the producers. But she also was prompted to express something she doesn't like about him, and that is something that she doesn't like about him. So yeah, she had to address it on camera. He's like, oh, well, you didn't have a problem with it, and the only time you address it is when there's people in the room. She was asked. It was part of the exercise. So yeah, anyways, he gets annoyed. He storms off and calls her hard work. Then we have Steven, who's also trying to lean into the romance of it all, and he plans a date as well. He says that he loves how caring Nelly is, and she says she loves how confident he is and how he's not shaken by people's negative commentary, which is not true. He actually is shaken by it, but he just pretends like he's not bothered. She says she also loves his sense of humor. Then Joe comes back and he tells Maeve that he has concerns about whether they are compatible or not.
I can't even look at him.
You all right?
You've been gone for 2 days. You've not spoke to us.
I've been really trying to like think about our compatibility on the outside. Can you really see us working on the outside?
You needed time to make sure that you were okay, and I just felt alone. It's okay for you to have 2 days off to get your head together, but I've been in this fucking chaos. My head is up my arse right now.
Right, okay.
So this is a tough one for me because I do feel like Joe could have communicated things better. I think if you were going to leave like the entire process for a few days, you could have had a face-to-face conversation. Unfortunately, the last face-to-face conversation they had was an argument, so I could see why he's not really keen on talking to her in person. But anyways, he did leave a note, and he did not speak to her while he was gone. So I'm like, you could have been communicative. However, he's grieving. Maeve also admits if she was going through something like this, she too would want to retreat. She wouldn't want to be in people's face. She wouldn't want to have to explain herself. She would also be silent in the way that Joe was. She's taken it personal though. And that's odd to me because this is not the time to make it about you. I understand she feels abandoned. I understand she wishes that he was keeping her in the loop more. But he's grieving. He's grieving actively. He went for the funeral. Like, this is something that's happening in real time. This isn't, oh, my grandfather passed a year ago. Like that one guy, his dad had passed like years ago, but he was still bringing that into the process. That one I can understand a little bit more. He's actively experiencing loss. You found a way to make this about you. Now, where I do feel for her is the fact that although he is grieving, he hasn't been completely honest with her. He isn't sure if they can last on the outside. But I mean, he just asked her at the top of this conversation, so he is starting to let her in on where his head is at. But anyways, yeah, he's not sure about the longevity of this relationship, and he still doesn't like her fight style. He thinks that she's very combative, and he, for the most part, is kind of avoided, to be honest. So yeah, that's going to be an issue. In as much as I do have empathy for him and his situation, I do think that he could be more honest regarding their specific relationship. But yeah, for a second, don't make it about yourself, Maeve. At the dinner party, the entire group is confused because DeVarney and Julia Ruth walk in hand. They said that they were able to mend their situation. I don't know if they were able to do the nasty too, but it looks like they might have. They look very close, very comfy cozy. So yeah, the whole group is like, what the hell?
Oh. Is anyone saying
He's a matcher as well.
He's had his brain probably washed.
Here's to being open and honest.
She's a stupid bitch. For you to not even have the maturity to come and talk to me.
My loyalty lies with DeVarney because you're the one in the wrong.
He is literally besotted with Julia Ruth.
She has spent 5 weeks slagging him off.
Everyone has concerns that Julia Ruth is playing in DeVarney's face. I mean, she has been from the beginning. I even made a comment about it at the honeymoons. I was like, this girl does not like this man, but she's gonna use a petty excuse like his height to say, oh, you know, it's just the height. I just can't get over that. Girl, be so for real. It's something else. But anyways, It's tough for me because people are talking about her and not to her. And I can understand why that is a very frustrating position to be in. But on the other hand, yeah, I mean, people are trying to look out for Devarney. It looks like he is dying to self a lot. He's trying to appease Julia Ruth instead of looking at himself and the needs and wants that he has in a relationship and how those aren't being met right now. But then on the other hand, if I had three, he's a big man. He's a big man. He knows there's an issue. He could voice things. He could bring things to the couch. This situation isn't as cut and dry as I think a lot of people are looking at it to be. Not for me, at least. So yeah, I don't know. I would have been pissed off too if the whole room is trying to hold me accountable for something when I know the conversations that I've had with my partner and the fact that this was a mutual decision. And if he really had a problem with it, he could have said something earlier. You know, like I get that. But then I'm also like, but no, girl, you did make him look bad, real bad. Fact of the matter is, Julia Ruth don't like this man. Maybe she's horny from time to time. And they, you know, get down, but she don't like him. And just tell him that, okay? Just tell him you don't like him and leave. Moving on. They do the honesty box. Lee and Leah say that they are ready to progress their relationship. The room thinks that Devarney and Julia Ruth are the least honest couple. Devarney thinks that she's not physically attracted to him, and she's surprised by his answer. Julia, stop it. They do start to tease an affair with Steven. They basically were like, who would you be attracted to? Mind you, she was asked. Remember this. She was asked. Yeah. Who would you have eyes for if not your husband? She said, I would never act on this, but I choose Steven. Okay? Remember that, because that's going to be a thing. Why in the dinner party was Kia going off at Julia Ruth, basically saying, oh, your relationship is fake, this is fake, whatever. April and what's his name now? April and Leo, fake. Hell, Kia and David, because they don't want to address the real issues going on in their relationship. Fake. Lee and Leah, fake. I personally did not like the fact that everybody was targeting Julia Ruth specifically, simply because those things could apply to everybody else. And then Kia was talking about, oh, you're obviously here for your 15 minutes of fame. Excuse me. Aren't you on a TV show too? And then he's going to say, I don't even need the show. I make 6 figures. But you're still on the show. You might make 6 figures, but you're still on the show. So a little bit of you wants the clout too. Let's go to the commitment ceremony. Okay. We have Reese and Leisha who say that things are getting better between them. They're still struggling with their sex life. Charlene basically tells them, listen, the sex that you're having is fine. Let's not try to, make that an issue when it's not an issue. Let's focus on actually getting to know each other deeper, and maybe that'll spark more sexual desire. So they decide to stay. Then Leah thanks the experts for changing Lee's mind the last time they were on the couch. She was like, I don't know what you guys did to her brain, but thank you. Am I the only person who takes issue with this relationship? I just feel like this lady just be gaslighting. I don't like it. But anyways, Lee says things have been getting better too. They would have gotten sexual if not for the Reds, but yeah, they decide to stay. Then Becca admits that she did not realize that she was crossing a boundary with Bailey at the time that she told him about the comment that she made. But they have agreed to go back to their pact and not address any attraction to other people in the process, and they decide to stay. Then we have Grace, who makes it clear that her issue isn't the fact that Ashley has a sense of humor that she doesn't fully understand. She does not like being on the receiving end of deprecating jokes. Do not be the funny guy at my expense. I feel like that's very easy to understand. They decide to stay. Nelly. Oh, Nelly pissed me off. And some of you guys might be pissed off by me, but Nelly says that she did wish that she was more appreciative about the good things that Steven does, which goes back to what I was saying initially about her, which is the fact that she is very insecure. She projects a lot of things and she makes issues that aren't issues. So I can understand why Steven no longer wants to entertain this girl. You are smothering. You do too much. Like, you ask for so much reassurance when I haven't given you a reason to question me. He eventually did give her reasons, but at the beginning, he didn't. So, well, seemingly based on the edit. So yeah, I still stand by that. Okay. They then bring up Julia Ruth, and I did not like how Nelly was trying to paint Julia Ruth in this situation.
Steven's always made me feel quite secure that he's not interested in looking at other people. She'd just laugh a little bit too loudly. Just, you know, little things like that. She'd met some people from the group. She hopes she gets them for partner swap. How can at one moment you be giving me advice as a friend and making sure that I'm okay, a few hours later telling people that you fancy Steven and you got to stay in the game for 2 weeks? Who does that?
It blows my mind.
So we can't confirm this whole couple swap thing. That was a conversation that happened off camera, right? However, you're saying, oh, sometimes she laughs too loud and her looks linger for too long and all kinds of things to insinuate that Julia Ruth is pushing up on your man. And when Nelly and Steven had the conversation about Julia Ruth, he literally said, I never got the vibe that she was trying to press up on me. It's just been casual conversations here and there, like she hasn't been doing anything. But now you want to paint this woman as if she's some kind of hussy coming after your man. I didn't like that. I'm sorry. No matter how you feel about Julia Ruth and how she's treating Devarney, I did not like the fact that she was trying to paint Julia Ruth in a way that made her seem like a homewrecker. Didn't like that. Now, she might still wreck a home. People are assuming that she could be going for Joe. She might actually make a play for Steven, but based on the information that we've gotten so far, that was not that was not what was given. So I didn't like that. But anyways, Nelly and what's his name? Stay. Next is Abigail and John. They're doing well. They both wish that they had more confidence. They both wish that the other had more confidence. He says that he has fallen for her. She's not quite there yet, but she does love where things are going, and they stay. Then we have Maeve, who says that she retreats when she's also going through a lot. So she understands why Joe is doing that, but she just is scared that her time is going to be wasted. What's his name now? Ashley does say that he has information, but he doesn't want to disclose it because he doesn't want to break Joe's trust. But listen, she knows. She broke down on the couch. She was crying. She knows that he's not, fully into this. But anyway, she decides to stay because she feels like she has questions that need answers. Then we have April and Leo. They're a waste of space. We barely know this couple. They barely know each other. I don't know what they're still doing here, but yeah, basically he's still superficial. She's sticking around for whatever reason. They stay. Kia and David say they have no issues. They just say that they're ready to explore things further. All right, they stay. Last on the couch is Devarney and Julia Ruth. The whole room was ready to pummel old girl.
At what point did you start having sex?
About second weekend.
Oh, cut right, no, please.
We don't have to get into the details, but it sounds like you had sex multiple times. Okay. Julia Ruth, everyone has clocked you.
Trying to deflect from your own problems and emotionally manipulate the group.
And then I started thinking maybe he's just delusional.
He's delusional? Devarney, is there anything that Julia Ruth will do that you won't forgive? Mind you,
Steven called Nelly a fucking idiot twice. And I'm not saying that Julia Ruth should not be held accountable in the way that she is, but why the hell is she getting a lot more vitriol than Steven ever got? I'm very confused. This to me felt like a humiliation ritual. I'm so sorry. And it's weird because I don't even fully side with Julia Ruth, but something about how this is being conducted, it just feels icky to me. I don't like it. In the words of Huda, it seems like she's a scapegoat. It's weird. Anyways, from the time the experts were like, the only person who's not clocking that she's been running amok, that you've been bamboozled, that you've been hoodwinked, that you've been is you, Devarney. I said, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? What the hell is this? You cannot be serious. These experts are not serious. Oh my gosh. But basically they're telling him to stand up, which he should. I do agree. He does need to stand up. And yeah, they say Julia Ruth obviously has feelings that she's not being fully transparent about, but yeah, anyways, their decision is left on a cliffhanger. We don't know if they decide to stay. I think that they probably would stay because they are trying to tease this whole will she have an affair thing. But yeah, all in all, I'm sorry if you guys are Julia Ruth detesters, this was probably a hard watch for you. But yeah, I'm not completely against her. Yeah, anyways, that's it for me. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.